Tonight's review on my 31 Days of Horror harkens back to a time when I used to, when I was going to college, and I'd go to this video store all the time. I remember there was, you'd have all these, these VHS movies there. There's certain ones that stood out, but neither one stood out more than this particular one here, and it stood out for a reason. It had a gimmick, and it had a gimmick that I liked. And I always hoped that when it came out on Blu-ray or something, they'd find a way to incorporate that gimmick. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. And it was a Frankenhooker film, and I'd seen it a long, long time ago, and I actually haven't really rewatched it for ages. So tonight I decided to give it a whirl again. It's like it's a comedy horror film, and it's really fun. It's Frank Henlotter, the guy that brought you movies like Basket Case, so you know there's some kind of body modification horror that's involved in the film, and you've seen the opening, so you know what it is. It's a little movie that Synapse put out, and it's also put out by Arrow Video for if anybody is watching this in the UK. And it's Frankenhooker, a terrifying tale of sluts and bolts. And this is actually a really fun film. Frankenhooker is one of those kind of cheesy. Came out in the '90s, but it really was one of those style films that was really meant for like the drive-in style stuff. It's the tale of a guy named who's he would have been a really good doctor, but instead he becomes like an electrician because he keeps getting kicked out of medical school. So he's got his girlfriend there at the beginning of it, and his name is Jeffrey Franken. Yeah, that's his name, and his girlfriend is Elizabeth. Yes, of course it's Elizabeth. So they're going to get married. It's his fiancée, and he's done up like a present for the father for. He's always inventing and stuff. He's usually with biology. At the opening of the film, there's a brain in a jar with an eye in the middle of it, and nobody like blinks. Nobody even blinks. That there's a brain in the jar. His mom comes in and like she's really his girlfriend's mom comes in. She's totally fine with it. She thinks he's a little weird, but there's a brain with an eye in it in a jar, and he's like using electric things to make it to make the eye move back and forth. It's a really cool opening, and it's just so casually done that it lets you kind of lets you in on the style of humor that you're going to be getting from this film. So, of course, there was a tragic accident, and she stands. His girlfriend's not the bride. She stands in front of the lawnmower, and the lawnmower gobbles her up. So we go to like the credits, and afterwards we see that I think it's about 6 months or so later, and he's in his laboratory in his room, and he's doing this sort of trying to make the body thing. He's trying to like get her back together. So he's like drawing on this like anatomy of this anatomy kind of skinless person with like big breasts, and her face goes taped up the top of it. Now. We all know that he's going to get there. We know the movie's called Frankenhooker, so we know that more than likely he's going to get there using, a hooker. Well, he uses several. There's a character in it that's kind of a pimp guy. His name is Zora. He's like this big buff dude. And he gets the girls, these pimps work because they use this crack. So in order to get the girls, because he doesn't want to kill them himself, and he can't decide which girls to use, so he gets like 6 or 7 girls to come in, and the scene where, which is not for the little ones, they are very unclothed, and he invents this something. He doesn't give it to them right away. It's like a super crack. It's like this big, almost like this Fortress of Solitude style of looking at gigantic crystal rocks, and it's supposed to be like a super crack. So he's thought about it, but he's had a kind of after all this had happened, he's had kind of like a crisis of conscience. And he decides, he's just going to give the money, and that's going to be it. And he's going to go on because he can't decide, he can't do it. Well, there's a big storm coming up, and he knows it's the perfect amount of electricity that he would need to bring Elizabeth back. But he needs body parts because all that was left of her after the accident, unfortunately, was like her head, one of her toes, her hand, and I think a foot, something like that. So they notice that absentmindedly, he's left the super crack under the money, and they take the whole thing and they take the money and they know it's the crack there, and being crack whores, legitimately, they flip out and immediately start smoking the crack. I couldn't make this up if I tried. I wish I could, because I would have the mind of Frankenhooker, and it's geniusly funny. Uh, so the crack whores smoke the crack until they explode. It's hilarious, and the way it's done. Remember, it's back in 1990, so it's not overly gross or anything like that. Like you'll see them, then you see like what will basically be a body cast mannequin that will explode, type of thing. And then later on we see him actually trying to putting her together, and putting her back. Unfortunately, when she wakes up, she doesn't have her memory. She actually has, it's my cat, the memory of one of the prostitutes, because she has very, very different, people inside of her, because she's had to like mix and match all these different people. So the first thing she says when she wakes up, this is hilarious, is, want a date? And the cool thing is that if you, like I mentioned earlier on to you guys when I was talking about the box, it had kind of a neat little gimmick. And that was the gimmick on the box, is that when you looked at the VHS box of that one here, there's a button thing you press. And you press, and the box would say that, would say want a date. So basically, kind of like still in kind of, I guess, hooker mode, she basically knocks him out by accident, and kind of just walks, because she doesn't know her own strength. She's got these huge boots, by the way, these huge like Frankenstein like lift boots, and she's gone through I guess New Jersey or New York, and basically saying, want a date? Got any money? To everybody that comes along. And she finally meets this guy, this older dude, and he's like fascinated with her. So she brings him back and proceeds to disrobe, and when she gets on top of him to basically give him a kiss, electricity comes out of her, of course, and well, he explodes, and that tends to be what happens to other people. One person explodes. It's just really funny. There's lots of explosions. So when Jeffrey wakes up, he goes out searching for Elizabeth, and eventually he finds her. But unfortunately, Zorro, the pimp, he finds he finds too. Now here's the thing that you got to know, that when all the prostitutes died, Jeffrey felt bad. So Jeffrey took all the parts of all the prostitutes back to eventually put them all back together into their own bodies. Something happened. I'm not going to tell you, because it's the ending. It's the ending of it that makes for a very satisfying ending for this film. It's only runs at about, like, I think 85 minutes long. It's actually a very it's like a short film, and it comes off like almost like a very funny episode. Imagine if you had like a nude with Twilight Zone type of thing. The acting is actually pretty damn good. I really like the guy that played Jeffrey. Who's it again? James Lawrence. And I'm not sure if I've seen him in other things before. I probably have, but I'm just not thinking right now. I'm actually very tired, but I want to make this review before I went to bed. But Frankenhooker, would you watch Frankenhooker, Smokey? No, she wouldn't. That's one of my cats there. Smokey. Right. She's hiding away. But this is the window right there, and she loves the window. So, again, guys, Snaps did a great job with this. It's a 2K restoration. There are some great features on here. I watched the features on this one a while back. About when I picked this up, it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But I actually have never watched the film itself. I didn't even know it was possible. I just hit a button on here that with my cast, and it said, "Do you want to switch cameras?" And I'm like, "There's another camera on this thing." Okay. Anyway, Frankenhooker. Do I recommend it? I really do. You do have to have kind of a perverse sense of humor for this type of film. You should know Frank Henlotter stuff when you go in. Though to be honest, this is probably one of the tamer like type things that he's done. Like he's done like movies like basket case movies, and God, what's the one with the person who had a bad stomach? The little creature would come out of its butt. I can't remember her name. But it was like hilarious. But this one here, I gotta say, Synapse did an amazing job on it. I have donated the Arrow edition. I would like to see what that one has, but I'm really proud to have this one in my collection. It's a fantastic edition. I gotta say, I was watching it all the way through. I've been kind of tired tonight, so I wanted to watch something that was going to be kind of that I could kind of watch or would at least keep my attention. And this one did. This one actually really kept my attention throughout the entirety of the film. So Frankenletter's Frankenhooker, A Terrifying Tale of Sluts and Bolts was a fantastic little watch for a night. This is day 7 of my 31 days of horror, and I went for a little more of a comedic horror this time around, because you got to mix it up and you got to keep doing some different, unique, cool stuff. And hopefully some of you guys there will check out some of Frankenletter's work, and definitely check out Frankenhooker, because she's waiting and she needs a date. It's a great little film, a little twist at the end that's kind of fun, and you do kind of see it coming a bit with certain things that are mentioned earlier on. But it's so well done. Think of it as a light-hearted, like it's a little sister to the two movies like Reanimator, stuff like that. So if you like Reanimator, this is not in the same, but it is on the same type of ilk as Reanimator. In a weird way, this is like a Reanimator type thing, a Reanimator light, with like more nudity and yes, more nudity. There's a bunch of nudity during the prostitute scene where he's trying to figure out which prostitute to take, and he's looking around basically at all of them in their half-dressed stage, trying to figure out who has the best arms, who has the best butt, who has the best legs, all that type of stuff. So for me, my cat's Smokey, right? Huh? And my better half, who's upstairs getting ready for bed. It's time for tea, and probably time for sleep after I read for a little bit. And check out a Synapse. This one. There's mosquitoes coming up, guys. So if you haven't checked that one out, or haven't pre-ordered that one yet, it's got a 7-minute making of documentary on it. So looking forward to it. Whoa, Frankenhooker. Truly a quality, fun little film. If you like this type of film, pick it up. It's really, really good. And I'm not sure what it costs now. I got it for a good price. I remember when I bought this, my cousin gave me one of those HMV gift cards. This is one of the ones I got. I got this one and Maniac Cop. But pick it up. It's great. It's a great addition. Thanks for watching. For me right now, well, it's time for tea. I'm tired. I'm sleepy, and I am out of here. Have a good night. Want a date?